wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are distressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Welcome to Everything Sparkle. With us, we have Louis. Louis, tell us about all this art you have going on. Is that one behind you?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a piece behind
that's
you.
one of the pieces.
One of
Yes.
many. Okay, so let's go with that one for starters since it's there. How long did that take you to create?
That was a while ago, so a couple of hours probably. But
That's
it
it?
was
Is that typical?
depends on the series that I'm working on. I have some pieces that it takes a long time just to get inspired and get the right inspiration, the right materials, paintings, depending on the type of media that I'm using. If I'm using oils, it's gonna take months. If I'm using, in this case, I use acrylics, so it's really fast.
Awesome. No, that is so beautiful. I
Thank
can't
you.
believe it's only 2 hours. I never know. I know some people do some really amazing things in a short time, but so some of the other stuff that I've seen of yours, that takes a little more in depth, you're saying. Some things are, what's the longest art project you ever had?
I have one that is still in the making. So it's a huge street art piece, a series basically. So I have, I think, up to 20 different pieces, and I keep on adding on to them. Perfectionist, so I'm trying
So
to.
what do you mean it's a series? Okay, to explain us what a series is.
So basically, a series is you take several pieces, and then you create all of them one by one or all together. And so when you put on an art show, those pieces all kind of go well and end in end together. And
So do you have to sell them all together or does people buy one of this series?
you could, in some cases, it happened that I sold a series like of four different art pieces together. But also you could sell it separately. It's just that the pieces or the canvases that you work on really go well together. So
And we put these at art shows, art collections, and people can buy them. Is it like a bidding war? Is it like an auction type thing, or you have like a set price? And tell us how it goes. I'm so curious.
yeah, usually I expose in local art galleries. I'm based in Ottawa, and so I have a little cafe where I like to go. And basically people just come in and I put the price on sometimes. Some other times I just feel like we can negotiate the price together, and given the interest of the person as well.
And if somebody has something they want you to draw specifically, can you do that, or is it you don't
Yeah,
prefer to?
I think that's my preferred approach. I like to work on projects that are custom, to meet someone that is interested in your art, into doing a project together. So it can be any subject, abstract, more concrete type of art. I definitely have a penchant for abstract art, but I can work in many different shapes or forms.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing arts for 17 years now, so I've been doing that for quite some time.
Did you
Yeah,
learn? Did you have to go to school for it, or are you self-taught?
yeah. I took some art classes here and there at the in Ottawa, but mostly I just learned by experimenting and just trying out different approaches, mediums, and also I was part of different art groups. And so I was with the artist of Stonebridge, which is just beside my where I reside, and a couple of really cool artists there. They were bringing some in some experienced artists that would show us their processes, and we can learn from them and get inspired.
That is so incredible. What about all these other artists? Do you guys do a collaborative effort or they just go to you? Like when you said you're with these groups, is it all of you guys creating something different?
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes they have a team, and you have to uh, create pieces that are tied to that, and then we kind of all come together in a golf venue, and then yeah, people are invited in the community. Well, before COVID hit us, of course. And nowadays it's a bit less because we can't have as much social interaction with people in general. But
So are they doing their own art or you're working on a project together?
no, each artist is kind of working on their own
Because
things.
that'd be kind of weird to collaborate art, but it happens, right?
Yeah, it happens. I have a good friend of mine. We do some arts together. And in a non-advertised fashion. And it's really interesting because you get to learn from each other's and motivate yourselves. Because as an artist, you kind of have to have that contact and uh, that human interaction with others. So I find, especially during the pandemics, because your social interaction is so reduced.
Right.
It helps to have those moments with some artists that you find a good connection with.
What did you create during the pandemic? Did that make you go like you had a little bit more time to create some stuff,
I
right? Tell us
went
about
Monka.
that.
No, I think I did. It's interesting because before the pandemic, I was interested into the propaganda art. And I did a publication of a story. It's The Punk and Little Man, a story of myself, and it's like an alter ego thing. It's not your real self, but it was me and my son, and the story of how these two met together in an alternate reality.
Mhm.
And it explains, a bit about their philosophy to become more independent, and being able to produce their own energy. And it was really uh, precursor to everything that happened. So I found it was interesting, the historic value of that story, especially nowadays when everything is all dark and
That is
yeah.
something. I know it's a very dreary, but your art, I've seen some of it looks a little bit dark.
Oh yeah, you found?
Some of it, not all of it, but I feel like there's undertones. Tell us some of the ones that you have. And do you have any others that you could show us right now that in
Yeah,
the
I can
flash?
probably
Yeah,
go.
take us around. I love what I'm seeing right now. You look like you live in a really cool area, and it reminds me of
I
like
don't know if you can see it well, but
I
that
could see it.
one
Okay.
behind me, that's a bit darker. Um, I think it was called Infinity or something like that. It's hard a bit with the camera because I'm
Oh,
on
you're good. No,
reverse.
I'm just looking at and taking it all in. Oh, so was that a series?
Yeah, that one, if
Okay,
I
now
get
I get
all
what I.
together. Yeah. But usually I don't do that, but this one I loved it so much that I add to. I don't know if you can see
So
it well.
everyone tells a different story. So tell us a little bit about the 5 stories. I can see it. Tell us a little bit about the series and what it means.
Um, oh boy, it's been such a long time in those pieces. I think it's just like the human faces, and it's abstract mostly. Um, but different seasons, maybe different face facades that we have in our lives. I have so many. I can show you a
I
lot of
know. I
things.
love this right now. This is exciting for us to have a tour, a home tour. Okay.
That one is like
Okay,
this
7 Up.
7 Up. Yeah, yeah. So I did a lot of that. That's like more of the street art that I like to do. It's kind of graffiti and hip. So I'm trying to do that.
So
Uh,
why is it called 7 Up?
just to keep it fresh.
And it has nothing to do with the drink, right?
No, not really. I just thought that, well, with propaganda, like all the things that we are so used to see, it's funny how it influences us when we see a buzzword that we are used to see.
Is that
So,
what propaganda art means?
well, propaganda art, I see it like a bit like 1984, the story of George Orwell, how
Right.
everything becomes so so much of the same, and it's always repetitive and not always the same concept. So yeah, using the words like that to me was more being brainwashed by seeing all of that. I think I'm gonna go to the basement if you don't mind.
I I cannot get enough of this. Just whatever you want to throw at me, just throw at me. I love this.
Okay. So I have like say huge pieces in my basement, and this is where I work most of the time.
Is that like
So
a king of clubs or something? And I'm seeing it like it looks like a king on a card, on the cards,
yeah,
like the playing cards.
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna remove myself off the camera so you
ah,
can see that.
we love you. You're very attractive. We love your art more. We love it all.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did this also recently. I worked on. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I feel like I'm right there with you. I'm so glad you keep me amazing.
Yeah, so that one or that approach, it's another series. I have tons like this around. I'm just gonna open the lights a little bit. Sorry. And you can see I did others. So I restored the canvases basically with golden colors. It's a special mixture that I'm using, and I tried to all bring it together. Uh,
Okay, Louis, how much would that go for? Not to switch gears, but like that, this gold one, the last one you just held up. If I wanted to buy that, how much does something like that go for?
so maybe that one would be around a little bit over 1,000 probably, because just the
That's not bad at all, actually, because that could take up a big chunk of wall. You know what I mean? If for a
yeah.
decorative piece, that's not bad. I wasn't sure. I mean, I wouldn't know if it went that low. If you're like everything you have was like 10,000. You know what I mean? I don't know art very well with that.
No, I'm not. I'm
That's
not
very
there yet.
affordable. A
Yeah,
thousand
still.
for to create like a chunk of wall. That's actually very affordable.
Yeah,
That's cool.
those big ones are more expensive though because they're taller than me, right? So
I was
can
gonna say, I
only imagine.
mean,
And these ones too, behind me, those are like super huge. They're massive. They're like 5 by 5, uh, and it took a long time to create them. So those would go with maybe more 3, 4, 5,000, something like that. If it sells, you never know
oh
in
my, I
art.
like the woman back there. Can you take me to the woman? I see a woman.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
this.
I can always spot a naked lady from a mile away. Not that one. There
Oh,
was one
there.
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
that
that
one.
one. Yeah.
Okay, this is pretty. Is that an actual person that you know?
Yeah. It's actually a friend of mine that is based in Montreal, and she does like those camera working.
It's not Dina, right?
No, no. So she does that, and so she accepted to lend me some photos to inspire my art for free. Because as an artist, models they're really expensive, and we don't always have the money to pay for that. But she accepted to collaborate with me, so it was awesome. Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so now take us to the big woman you had. Then I didn't even see that until you pointed the camera
Oh,
that way.
that
I
one.
saw the big woman.
That one is like a work that I done on a door, a wooden door. The for the
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I also added like some gold color, and there's a lot more pieces like I could show you, but yeah, yeah. So 17 years of creating in my basement.
I mean, as creepy as that sounds, that's amazing. Okay, what about that one back there to the left to this side of the other? Okay, him, is he like a Roman or what's he?
Yeah, like he's like the punk that that kind of figure that I kept on working with throughout all of my big series. Like I don't know, I have a thing for punk figures and the punk scene and all of that. I kind of like it, and so I
I'm
keep
getting
on
punking up.
reusing.
First, I thought it was like a Roman soldier with a
Could be.
wearing that on top. And now that you're saying the punk thing, I see the spiked. I get it now. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, but so that also that big series behind me, it's all about revolution and trying to protest and that that type of propaganda art again. That there's a message in each of the canvases, like some things like. Street rules and no way and the big bad company man. So I guess it's just like a way to express myself and get some of these messages out
Is
to
that
get
a
people
bird?
thinking. Go for
Is
it.
that a
Sorry.
bird or am I looking really off? There's a yellow beak. Is that a bird?
The one behind me there.
Yeah, they're exactly behind you. It's like a
This
yellow
one, huh?
beak. Is it a bird?
Whoops.
Yeah, yeah. Is that a bird or no?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's kind of a bird. Yeah.
See, I'm kind of seeing everything you're saying. So I'm trying to ask, like, well, because a lot of times I see things and people are like, "Where did you get that from?" I'm glad we're on the same. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a bird. Okay, what do you mean by kind of a bird? Is it a bird that's supposed to symbolize something or be something else?
Yes, because I like to play with images, and sometimes you look at the canvas and you see something, and another day you look at it and you're like, oh, I haven't seen it like that. So
Another
yeah.
naked lady behind you. I'm so I love the naked ladies. Like,
Oh, there, I guess. I think she has a top. On the corner, this one?
yeah, what is she holding on to? See, that was I think what
It's
looks
like
like
a
a
little
king.
monster, I think.
Oh,
And
because
then
it
you
almost looks
have
like a king on a
and then
plane.
you have the gladiator, like the Roman guy. Here he is. And
Nice.
she's kind of holding just on the ceiling or something like that.
And what does it say? Is that a word? Does it say?
Yeah, it says anarchy. That's the big A here.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You are so talented.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's tell us a little bit else about yourself. What else do you do when you're not doing art, or is that the main job you have? Is this the main?
No, that's the pastime. I do that in my spare time. Arts. Yeah, it's a passion. In my day to day, I'm a manager in IT.
So you're all techie.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Do you ever like mix it? Because I know a lot of people are doing like graphic arts. Are you into that, or you're not really?
Yeah, I did some electronic art, you mean?
Right.
Like from
I
the
wouldn't know.
computer.
But that's none of the stuff that I saw on your Instagram, right?
Yeah, I did. I don't
Oh,
think
so
I
that
have.
was electronic. Okay.
Yeah, I think I
That was,
have some,
and
but
I know it seems weird to pull it up now,
they're
but I
not.
am.
No, they're not ND, so I can't. I can show you. Sorry,
Wait, you can't show
but
me
I
what?
did the electronic arts.
Is it
Unfortunately,
copywritten?
sorry.
Is it copywritten or it hasn't come out yet?
No, no, it's not that. It's just that I don't have the prints. I just have the electronic version. So
But everything
I
I
didn't
see
think.
right here, most of all the stuff you posted, this is all paints, though, right? On your Instagram.
Yeah, on my Instagram, there's a mix of everything. Like there's a mix. I do a lot of drawings too.
I
Um,
see that.
yeah, they do. I did over 20,000 drawings over
How
the
long does that
years.
take a lot for just to do drawings like that?
How long? Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, how long? Because I mean, you said 20,000. You've been doing it for 17 years. To me, that just seems like you're
Yeah,
banging them out.
you just keeping on producing and producing and producing, and then you realize that, oh my God, I have a lot of the drawings. Yeah.
But is it like a day? Is it usually take a day like some of this? I mean, this is, at some of these
Most
links.
of the drawings that I do, they're pretty fast. I would think, a
Are
couple of
these all people
hours.
you know, by the way, these women? Do you know them?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes I did a lot of drawings on the bus. Um, yeah, before the pandemics, I was drawing all the time on the bus.
Were you drawing strangers?
Shangers, what is that?
Strangers, like you would
Oh,
just see
strangers, yeah.
people. Did people look at you weird because you were staring at them and drawing them?
Yeah, most of them are smiling. It happened to me once over many, many years of drawing on the bus that someone refused. And I basically gave the drawing of the person, oh, and she said thank you. So it didn't go too bad.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then when you were a kid, then were you drawing at all like as a child or not really?
Yeah, I think I always liked drawing. It was a part of what I would do, but maybe more like in a day routine. I would just cover up my agendas with all sorts of little monsters, and one of which I keep on playing with in my painting still to this day. He's called Jaw, and it's like a robotic, like a square with I don't even have it.
Yeah, I'm sure you have them. You have everything there.
I can draw it really
I
fast.
don't even want to know what kind of dreams and nightmares you have. I have an idea by looking at.
I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show you on there. Do you see it?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a little monster.
Were those teeth?
Yeah, teeth and a eye.
So he's kind of like a Pac-Man.
Yeah, a bit like a Pac-Man.
So where can we purchase the art? That's the big question of the day. Can I go online and order some stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. On my Instagram, I put a link to a new
Right.
website that I've developed. It's called Le Galeriste. So they do so Le Galeriste GALERISTE.com, but it's my artist name there is Bergevin Wine Bank.
Yeah.
And you can also, yeah, that's it. So that's a series. So I worked on a series, and I'm doing some. They're doing clothes.
I love that. And I want to buy like this pillow. It's so decorative. So now it's your print. It's your original piece that you did print work, and now they made it into clothes and pillows.
Exactly.
I know this is bad. You
Yeah,
guys all have to go to the website.
yeah,
We'll put it up there for everybody.
I really like the approach, and it's a Montreal-based company. So I'm like, hey, why not? I was born in Montreal, so might as well try to
Even
do
a
business with
mask.
the hood.
There's a mask too.
Yeah, there's tons of little masks, and they're cute.
And
They're
this is
funny
all
anyway.
very affordable, you guys. Like all these clothes. So it's like basically it's all of your drawings or inspirations that people can wear, and everything's like $50. A lot of these things are an average of 50. So everyone needs to go to this website and get some stuff. I mean, that's really cool. Like now your art's expanded beyond.
Yeah, I really like the concept because I don't have to pay upfront for the project, and then also, you know, I don't have to sell the original piece for like
Right.
$200
We
because
can all enjoy it now.
that's it. I thought
We
it
can
was a
all be
good.
wearing you when you walk around the street. You're gonna be like, that's a Lewis? That's
Yeah, I should have worn the sweater for the interview. I just didn't have time to change.
Do you have it kind of handy? Do you have any of those clothes handy?
Yeah, I have one. I think, but it's upstairs, so I don't know.
I love the coloring on this. I love how a lot of these pieces are the yellows. I love the deep pinks. I mean, because
And
everything
it's
that you
super
have,
comfortable too. It's I really love the fabric. You know, sometimes you buy some clothes and you're like, I'm not sure. It doesn't really feel comfy, but those are really comfortable to wear, breathable a lot.
I love your choice in this because I feel like a lot of your art is very subjective, very abstract, but the pieces they chose for your clothes, it's all very matching. So we got yellows and greens that match together. You got the nice pinks. I love this pink too. This is a pink you can't find everywhere. So I like how this pink, you know, just especially with that room, how it accents the room with the pillows. I mean, I know that's just, that's the stage for that, but it's like, I love how they chose like these pieces to be on clothes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really doing a great job, and yeah, definitely, it's a good partnership. So I'm happy to. I always wanted to do something with clothes. I did some, you know, tryouts with different companies for T-shirts and stuff like that. But it was the first real, like, it looks like it's a bit like a fashion thing. So I think it's really cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. We want to keep up with everything you're doing. I know we could buy the clothes. Still back to if we want to buy your actual pieces. Do we just follow you
Yeah, you
on
can
Instagram?
just inbox me
And inbox
if you're in.
you.
Yeah, and we'll sort it out for sure.
And then also if we wanted something like, what if I wanted you just paint a picture of me or sketch a picture of me?
Yeah.
What do you usually do for stuff like that? And is that usually like $500
Inbox.
to do, like, or just depends?
I do
Ballpark figure.
based on the budget of the person. That's how I do
That's
operate.
good.
Yeah. So that way you predetermine how much you want to spend on your project, and we work together to set it up.
Well, speaking of COVID and everything that happened, my friend's longtime partner, spouse of like 20 years had passed away. And for his birthday, I had my friend do a painting for him of that person. And that, like, just, you know, besides making him cry and just making him, you know, very sad and emotional, it was so much, it meant so much to them to have that piece. So it's like, to me, some of the stuff that you're doing is like, it's priceless, and it could really mean like the world to somebody. You know, I mean, art already is when you go and you buy a piece and it meant something to you, someone puts on their wall, but it's like now people can come to you and get something.
Yeah, it's really special to collaborate with someone to do what they dream of in terms of art. It's really, really special to have that connection with the people and to define what are they looking for and what they love to see. So it's definitely a great hobby for me, and it's tremendous to see the reaction of people when they get their piece.
And one more question before I let you go. Illustrating books, is it something that you are considering?
Yeah, and I was thinking of doing a coloring book soon to let people draw into the and maybe outside of the lines sometimes if they want to.
That's what you do. You've always been an outside of the line kind of guy. I could tell by your artwork. Thank you so much, Louis, for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice, Sparkle, to have that moment with you.
Thank you for watching Everything Sparkle. How are you today?
Fine, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
on.
for
And
having me.
you're at work. Where are you working at?
Right now?
Is it a job we could talk about on TV?
No. It's a top secret job. So I can't disclose that. But yeah,
I
I
like
have a
your
day
backdrop.
job.
I love the yellow backdrop.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Thank you.
tell us what you have going on. You have quite a story and you've
Oh, yeah.
articulated it. Tell us about your story and what you're doing with it.
Well, I like to refer to myself as the little kid who could, a reference to the little engine that could. Just growing up with, a bad hand dealt to me, I decided to make the best out of my life. And regardless to circumstances, I made a promise to myself and my late brother to be the best I could be. So, out of all the hardship I had in life, I just kept pushing, and that made me write this book, and resilient is something that the world has referred to me as, not myself. So, just going through life, I just had to push through it.
Okay,
And
so
this
tell us
book
about
is,
the book and what
yeah,
I'm
this book here, it's 43 chapters and 460 pages.
wow.
Yeah, and there are still probably like 10 chapters that didn't make it because I decided to cut it back and stick to the original narrative, which is dealing with drug addicted parents and how, addiction that was not mine affected my life greatly.
Tell us a little bit about that. So, how many siblings were there?
Well, my mom, yeah, to give you a little backstory, my mom herself, she was the youngest of 14 children.
Okay, where at? What
And
town?
what was that?
What town?
Oh, she was raised in Fresno, California, but she was born in Phoenix, Arizona. So the youngest of 14 children, and her mother was on dialysis her young life. So she grew up knowing that she would lose her mom soon. So she started using drugs and alcohol at 12 years old. So I didn't find that out until she passed away. And when she passed away, she left a voice recording on her phone, just telling her testimony. And that empowered me to write my book, because my book is the blanks and it is from my vantage point. So yeah, just her life was very, very hard. And to
And
raise children.
I can't believe how many children did she have? She came from 14.
She
How
had
many?
three. She had three. So her oldest, which was my brother who passed away, then me, and I have a younger sister 2 years older than me. I mean, 2 years younger than me.
How did your brother pass away?
He passed away in a car accident.
And how old was he?
So he was 18.
And you were how old?
16. And I had to identify him on the scene of the accident by myself as well. So I write about that.
Were you there?
I was not there, but in the aftermath, I was picked up by a relative, and they took me out there and I had to identify him. So I didn't have the guts to look underneath the sheet that they had over the car in the wreckage. So I talk about that as well, what that was like.
So what did you identify him by?
Well, as I let the fear, cripple me, I went back and I end up finding my mom, and we went out there to the scene of the accident. And by this time, 2 hours later, they had him pulled out of the car. So, I could see him laying on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was to date my toughest obstacle.
Can you say how old you are now? You don't have to if you don't want to, but you were 16.
I'm 40 years old. I'm proud to be here at 40 years old. I have not a shame in the world.
You're so young looking. I knew you were.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You know you are. You're like, yeah. How old were you when you wrote this book, and what made you even decide to write it? Because I know it's a great story, but I know it's very daunting to write if you've never really written before. So when did you decide that you were going to write this book?
I started, we'll say 3 years ago, but the actual writing has been done for over a year already. So it took me maybe 2 years to write it. But it was so difficult for me because to relive these moments, I had to take multiple mental breaks. And when I would take those mental breaks, my best friend, he would push me and say, "Hey man, I'm waiting to buy that book. I can't buy it unless you finish it." So, I would dive back in it. But yeah, about 2 years worth of writing.
Do you think it was therapeutic for you?
Oh, it was. And I didn't know that until after I was done. I went to therapy, and my therapist said, essentially, that's what therapy is, putting your thoughts, your feelings into words.
Wow, that's so crazy. Like you went afterwards. Did you ever think about what made you decide to finally go to therapy, and why you didn't do it before the book?
Well, before, because in the Black community, it's like taboo. Like as soon as you say therapy, they associate that with being crazy or something. And
for men too, right? It's the Black community, but also men have a stigma where they can't really get it as well, right?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for all men, but I just know for me and the guys I grew up around, none of us have gone to therapy. So now I'm an advocate for that. But I do know that men in general really don't speak of their feelings. It's considered soft at times. But me, I'm an open book now, and I've suppressed so much my whole life that I have to get it all out so I can, really thrive in life. Yeah, I don't feel like I have to hide from anything anymore, especially a painful past. Oh yeah, it was second nature. The way we were raised, we didn't talk about our troubles outside of the home because that was considered taboo. Yeah.
So, your parents, they're the same two parents for all three children?
No. My brother and I, we had the same mother and father. My sister, she had her own father.
So at what point, tell us a little bit about the early work, and you don't have to give any spoilers away for your book.
Yeah.
Give us a little.
I'm not going to spoil it, but
the more you talk about it, the more I want to read it. So
yeah.
We get that right away. Tell us a little bit about the struggles that you had in those early years.
Well, just the fact that I had to figure out what drug use was, in itself was a struggle, because in the neighborhood I grew up in, the kids around, when their parents got wind of my mom's activities and the type of company she would have around her house, they wouldn't allow their kids to come to our house anymore. So it affected me as far as how I can play with my friends in the neighborhood and things like that. So just being able to play with your friend one day and then not have an explanation of why he can't come out and hang with you anymore. that's pretty damaging to a kid. Then you have to stay in the house and pay more attention to what your mom's doing when she's out of her element.
What kind of neighborhood were you in? So were you in a better neighborhood where everything was like bad, or
Well, in the
were you
early
in a rough
or mid
neighborhood?
'80s rather, it was a middle class neighborhood. Everyone worked, and it was pretty community driven. Everyone was like family, but we're talking about the crack epidemic, so when that came out, it really tore up my family, and a lot of families around the nation, their parents indulged in that drug. So, this book is from the perspective of a child. We see documentaries about the adults and how it affected them, but we don't see from the child's point of view, how their quality of life has changed. So this gives you a firsthand look what it's like inside a home with a parent on crack.
So when you were a child in this middle class neighborhood in Fresno,
Mhm.
California, and then the crack came. I mean, at what point did you even know? Was it because your friends stopped hanging out with you that you knew something wasn't right, and you figure, oh, you always
Yeah.
knew, hey, all of a sudden my mom's not acting right.
Yeah, that as well. And, just the way that the drive to use this drug and keep using it, it just really turns your whole life upside down, for the user, because you are no longer responsible. Bills are not your first priority. Now you have to move from your residence, and you're trying to kick this habit or not, and it's just getting the best of you. So you go from being homeless to living with different relatives, to potentially getting your kids placed in foster homes, just the whole spiral out of control factor, and if you haven't lived it or had a relative or something live that lifestyle, then it's kind of hard to fathom what it's like firsthand. So, I mean, I believe every family has a crackhead cousin or a drug addict cousin, that they are not as close to. So if you can imagine, the children in that setting, to give you a better understanding, on the outside looking in.
Did your mom ever get her life together? Because you mentioned kind of about her talking before she passed away. She mentioned some stuff. So tell us about that part.
Well, without spoiling it,
Without spoiling it, yes.
Yeah, without spoiling it. But anyway, just the intricate details is what's the most important thing anyway. So I can tell you that her journey, her struggle spanned 30 plus years, but she was finally able to get clean. And yeah, just to find out the ups and downs by reading this book, you yourself as the reader wouldn't believe that she could actually find sobriety,
Was
So
she very
yeah,
remorseful when that happened? Was she very apologetic to you and your
well,
siblings?
see, that's the thing, as an addict, it's not about, and I can't speak for an addict, but from what I've experienced with my mom, just it was more important for her to get her own mental health together than it was to pacify me. She couldn't change the past, and I had to be okay with that. And I just found happiness in seeing her doing the best she could, because as an adult, I just had to move on with my life, because a person will drag you through the mud as long as you hold on if they're not ready to change their life. So I had to let go.
So did you ever have any struggles with alcohol or drug use?
I did not. And that's what makes me, the miracle, because to be a product of that environment and to not indulge in that, to not do drugs, to not join a gang, to not, commit to a life of violence, when that's all I saw growing up, That's what sets me apart from a lot of people.
Did you stay away from it on purpose, or do you like have some drinks on the weekends, smoke a little pot sometimes, or do you just stay away from everything the whole time?
I stayed away from everything. Now I'll have a drink occasionally, because I'm an adult, but I understand that addiction has ran in my family, so I've seen what it can do to you. So I would be a fool to think that I am exempt. So I choose what I do, and I control my own thoughts. And I never wanted to do a drug because I saw firsthand what drugs do to people and how it tears up families, you know?
That seems logical, and a lot of people would say that. But as you know,
Yeah.
a lot of times you want to escape your reality that was so bad by doing something like that. So what did you do growing up to not have an outlet to ever let your mind escape because you were being sober? What was your
See,
outlet?
that's the thing, some people think they need a substance to cope, but I like to think I have uncanny coping skills. It's kind of like the glass half empty, half full, you know, but that's what makes me who I am, like I couldn't drink away the pain because once I sober up, it'll still be there, and just knowing that as a kid and just saying no, you know, that's me, that's who I am, you know. But as an adult, like when my mom passed away, I can honestly say in those past 5 years since she's been gone, I've drank more than the past 20 years in that 5 year span. But if I notice, that I'm indulging too much, I'll cut everything out only because I'm very aware of, addiction. I don't ever want to be controlled by anything.
How were your siblings like? I mean, how was your brother like before he passed away at 18? Did they have a similar mindset or not so much with the whole
No,
addiction and everything?
I believe he sacrificed himself for me, because we were like roommates our whole lives. And when he turned about 17, he moved out and started living his own life. And he had to do different things to make ends meet. And I witnessed him, even sell drugs to his own mom just to, assure that we can have a roof over our heads. And that was a different sacrifice for him being so young and having to shoulder that big of a responsibility, And naturally, I attempted to follow his footsteps, but, he had a real heart-to-heart conversation with me, and he told me we both don't need to go this route. So, use your talents, use your gifts, man, be something, like make mom proud. And that was the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. And that came from my brother. So when he passed away, that's all I had was the promise, to make mom proud and just to carry that, into my future, since we wouldn't do it together on earth, my brother and I. So you say, how can I maintain and stay focused? I had him with me, the whole way, because when he left this earth, he really didn't leave my heart. So that's a little deeper than
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but it makes sense. And I was an athlete before he passed, and he would push me to do that, and he was into music. So when he passed away, I figured out that I can keep him alive by pursuing his dreams. So then I ventured into music and started a career in music, and it kept me feeling close to my brother.
Are you a religious person or a spiritual person?
I've always had a relationship with God, and it was the faith I have that kept me moving through life, because there was times when there were not a person around, but I was not alone, if that makes sense. If that's not God, I don't know who was there. I leave that up to people and what they believe to tell me if they say God's not real. But there was times I couldn't carry myself. Somebody carried me, and that's God. Yeah, it
What
wasn't my mom. It wasn't my dad.
and your brother isn't, I mean, your brother's with you, but not, you felt something more that was telling you, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Yes, yes. Voices, speaking to me, letting me know like you're doing the right thing, or don't go that way, don't go to that party, and I don't go and somebody gets shot and dies. You know what I mean? Yeah, stuff like that. So I've learned at an early age to listen to the voice. That's been like my spirit guide.
So tell us about your father and your sister. We haven't talked a lot about them. What had happened with your dad during all of this?
Well, my dad, uh he had a choice to either be there or not be there, and he chose to not be there. So, you know, um,
Was he on drugs too?
he was on drugs. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And for that, I can give him grace. But being a father myself, I just could not. I couldn't fathom anything taking you fully out of your child's life, especially when you're striving to do great things and somebody you can be proud of. So he missed out on that. You know, and everything I didn't get from him, I'm able to give to my son. And the greatest joy in the world is seeing my son love me and just want to make me proud. That's amazing right there.
How
So I
old is
hold
your
no
son?
grudges. My son, he'll be 9 in October, and the things we do together and the confidence I have in him. Just last summer, or actually 2 summers ago, my son and we pulled out a motor out of my classic Mustang and we put a new one in. Me and my little 8-year-old son. Like that's crazy. So when I tell people and then I show them the pictures and videos, they're like, oh, okay. He's actually using the engine hoist to lift the motor up, you know, and safety first. I've coached him up on how to do, everything. But yeah, that's my partner, my sidekick right there. Yeah, but my daughter, she's the camera person, you know, to
She
document
loves
these
it.
things. Yeah. But just all I didn't have growing up, I made sure my kids would have. And
How old's your
that was
daughter?
my daughter, she'll be 14 in July. Yeah.
Teenager.
Yeah, yeah. So just blessed, you know, just blessed. And you wouldn't think, like, again, getting into the book, it's tough to imagine the outcome, even if I told you the outcome, reading it for yourself, you'll, even if you know the ending, you'll still doubt, because that narrative it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, for others. I had no choice. I said, I'm going to make it at all costs. And that's what I did.
So what happened to your sister?
My sister, she's living good. She's living her life. She that's my sister. I love her. She has her family, and we're close. We grew up in the same house, and she's a good kid.
So
She's a
she
good kid.
made it kind of. She didn't get into the
Yeah,
drug.
she made it. She's alive. She's never been to prison. She has a roof over her head. Her children are well taken care of. So it's safe to say, mom didn't produce drug addict kids. You know, so that's good. You know,
Do you ever talk to your father anymore?
my father is currently incarcerated right now. But when he gets out soon, I'll definitely reach out to him. You know, and have a heart to heart with him as well. You know, I think I need to forgive him for whatever it is. Just forgive him so I can move forward. with my life and not hold a grudge, you know?
What was it before all this? Because it sounds like they were middle class or kind of had it together, your parents, and you guys were in a good
Well,
neighborhood.
see, my parents were never together, like to my understanding, you know, they were not married. So my brother is 2 years older than me, and then came myself. And then 2 years later, my sister came with her dad, and my mom and her dad were married. So, you know, that chapter with my dad, to my knowledge, you know, was short lived
And he was
before I
never
was
around.
born. Yeah, they were never married. Like my dad and I and my mom, we never lived in the same house, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So was your stepdad like a decent provider at the time? Like when did the drugs come in to the picture?
Well, I will let you read that. I don't want to spoil that, but
Oh, give me something.
those I'll put it like this: he couldn't keep his hands to himself. Yeah, he was a abusive person. You know, his good times were good, but you know the bad outweighed the good all the time. So that just as a young male, you don't want to see your mom getting hurt by someone who's supposed to love her. You know, that creates just, I don't even know what to call it, but I knew that was wrong, you know. But it would happen so often that, you know, as kids don't know anything, they're taught everything. I would think that was normal behavior, you know, but I knew it wasn't. And not being able to speak on with what went on inside your home, you had to keep it in, or else, you know, you'd have the authorities at your house, you know, making changes in your house or taking people away, you know.
So
There's
how
a
long?
chapter in the book called Dysfunctional Harmony, and I think that speaks for itself, you know.
And I think a lot of families can relate to that, not to your
Mm-hmm.
level, but they have
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And that's the thing. So, you know, putting that real rawness in there, you know, I don't know what the other struggles are in America, but I'm sure someone can relate to something, you know.
This book, is it self-published or did you have a publishing house?
I self-published and I have a publishing house at the same
Okay.
time. So yeah,
How
I
does
just
that
went,
work?
huh?
How does that work?
Well, I just not waiting on anybody,
You
you know.
started the self-publishing process and then you go to
Yeah.
publish it later. Okay.
Yeah, I put it out myself, you know,
Okay.
and when you connect with a publishing house, they will rebrand it, you know, and you'll have a new ISBN and the whole
Okay.
nine, but a new copyright. So it's just another version of the same book. And this time they'll take claim to some royalties or something like that, you know. So that's just to get it further, to get the reach further.
Right.
I actually had a interview today with TBN to get it out on the Christian network, you know. So I'm undecided on what I want to do on that aspect, but this will definitely make a movie, you know, and just keeping my options open right now. I just want to get this story out there because again, this is a voice for the voiceless and, you know, hope for the hopeless. Like if I can make it, I feel anyone can.
Definitely. I can't wait to read this. If it was to be a Christian book, though, you'd have to take a lot of stuff out of it.
No, I'm not taking anything out.
Okay. Well, I didn't
You
know.
need to feel the real truth. Like we can't
I was
sugarcoat
wondering if that
everything.
came up in a conversation because I had a friend that like
Yeah.
wrote a book and had to write two different versions of it just because it was too
Yeah.
graphic.
We need the graphic. Life is graphic.
I,
you know?
I agree. I was just wondering how that was
Yeah.
working out with them I was wondering how the conversation went.
Oh, it went great. It went great. And I'm not even open. I'm not open to changing it. You need to hear the dialogue. You need to hear how people spoke when they were under the
Right.
influence. Because again, if you give a watered down version, how is it going to help people dealing with real serious issues? You know, you have to say it mean, you know? You have to be as violent as they were, or you won't really, feel the effects of it. That's
Are
my opinion.
you married today?
Today I am divorced, and I have a special lady that we should be planning a wedding pretty soon. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
good to hear.
yeah, so even on that tip, I have a whole book to write about being married, how tough it is and how easy it is at the same time, and how divorce works and how finding love again, is so wonderful, especially when you come in with a renewed sense of just what the whole thing is about. So yeah, that'll be my next book. You heard it first. I think
I
I'll call
love
it Second Chances, because
Thank
there's
you.
some people who've never been married at all. Yeah.
No, but I'm very curious to read that book. Definitely. I definitely need to read it. Both of them, all of them, the one that's out, the one that's coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. I can't wait to read this. So right now, when we want to buy this right now, where do I go to?
You can buy it on Amazon
Oh, perfect.
right now. Yeah, you can read it for free on the Kindle. And or you can wait till I have this massive shipment that'll be here in 2 weeks, and you can get it from me delivered and signed.
We could just DM you. Okay, because your Instagram is different than your name. You're one of those.
My Instagram is at JLOWE music.
Yeah.
And my website where you can order the book and everything is www.jlowemusic.com. And my other one is www.resilientjamarlinlowe.com. And everything will take you to the same place where all the information is.
Okay, because then it's not even on your Instagram. You need to put that.
I also have a soundtrack for my book as well.
Oh, is that where the music's coming into? Okay.
Oh yeah. That's my first passion, music. Yeah, so the soundtrack will just highlight different stories in this book, and once you read it, you'll feel this music more.
I love that. So where can we have that? Where can we find that one?
It'll be on my website as well.
That's all in the same spot. Okay.
Yeah, it's all in the same spot.
So what's the book one more time?
Here you go.
And it's called
Resilient.
Resilient. It's just one word. That's all it needs to be. It sums it up, right?
Yeah, it sums it up.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Hey, thank you as well.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't want to be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.